weeks ago, and this is dead, like, and my kids are relying on this holiday. We're going to miss it because of you. We're going to miss our flight! You guys make me sick.
You lot clearly haven't got any jobs to go to.
Get a life, get a job.
Jobs. Add something to this priority by doing something, earning money, and then you can Findet mal seinen Finger und das macht er mit Absicht, um aufmerksam zu machen.
Überhaupt keine Scheiße.
Gucken Sie mal Ihren Blut. Ja, aber das kann schon passieren. Ihr Blut ist zum Beispiel auch. Also da ist halt...
Those are Just Stop Oil protesters that have glued themselves to the ground and then getting upset when people are trying to remove them from the ground. And they're speaking German, so from what I gathered there, the guy turned around and said to the guy on the camera, he's done this to himself. And the other guy, when he said Scheiße, I think that means shit.
Yeah, shit.
So, let's see, Just Stop Oil, they need to change their name to Just Stop Existing. Nobody's going to get behind your cause. You're trying to raise awareness and bring attention to this, and in the pursuit of doing that, you've turned everyone against you. I'm literally at the point where I'd rather watch the world burn than you succeed.
Was that in the middle of the road?
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, why are people even bothering removing them? Leave them there. But if they're blocking the road, then I suppose you go.
It's crazy that they're doing this shit. It's actually mad. It baffles me that they think that this is okay.
When the wind doesn't blow, when we had really cold days, we were reliant on importing from the EU on coal and on gas. How are we going to replace that in the short term?
Quite frankly, I'm not a scientist. What I am doing is listening to what all the experts are saying. We're living in this insane world where the experts aren't being listened to.
Is she the one that was in the museum that time?
The Van Gogh one. She's also the one that threw the paint on the windows and they were trying to jet wash them. I don't know how she hasn't been arrested yet, to be honest with you. But
because they have rights, don't they? Protesters' rights. And
take
shit.
their rights on. Actually, no, that's a bad idea. But they are honestly, Just Stop Oil is just one of the worst things I've seen. They're trying to get the people on their side, but you've just turned people against you. Everybody hates you. No one can stand you. I don't understand how you think stopping people on their way to work is going to help your cause and get the British public to take your side. They're not going to. Their whole idea is that we're going to cause as much disruption as possible until people start listening to us and people start doing something about it. But they can't see that they're very close to getting one of their people hurt.
Yeah.
You're stopping someone from going to work. Maybe someone's got a job interview that's going to change their life, right? If they get that job. Maybe they've got a sick person in the car. Maybe they need to go and see somebody that's unwell.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how they're getting rights over the rest of us.
Yeah, and the worst thing is they'll block us in the street. But then if we grab them, the police carries us away. What the fuck is that? I don't understand it. They're blocking that. People are not meant to be standing in the road. Isn't there laws against that?
That's what I'm saying. There's so many like concepts where if we were to do it in a different thing that wasn't protesting, we'll get done for it straight away. Imagine I stopped an emergency vehicle from getting past.
The police will be on you in a second. Do you know what people should do? If they've got protesters' rights, we should protest them. So every single time...
I'm protesting against the protesters.
Yeah. Every single time they do something, every single time they want to do like cause a ruckus, there should be a group of people with enough time on their hands to go out there and ruin their days as well.
Okay, so what about this? Yeah, so they're gluing their hands to the floor or whatever. And then when they feel ready to go home, how about we all stand around them and don't let them get past and let them stay there for as long as possible, days. Everyone can keep swapping shifts just so that they can't go home to see how they like it being stopped and forced somewhere where you can't get out.
Well, you know, I think it was in Amsterdam or Germany. I think it was in Germany. They protested and they glued their hands to the Porsche showroom, right? So where the cars are, they've glued their hands to it. Do you know what Porsche did? They said, see you. And they turned all the lights off and left. No food, no water. And then these pricks had the nerve to go online and say they just left us here with no food and no water. You glued your own hands to the floor, you fucking retard.
Okay, and what about all the people that you're leaving stuck in a car who maybe hasn't eaten and they can't go anywhere because you're sitting in front of the car? No food, no water, no drink.
I think if they glue themselves to anything, just leave them there. Let them perish. If you're dumb enough to super glue yourself to a wall or a ground, Leave them.
But if I went right now into, say, central London and I started doing graffiti all over the walls, I'm getting arrested for that. I'm getting fined. Why are these people, why is nothing happening to them when they're vandalizing?
There should be consequences put on this group, like serious consequences. Let them, they have their rights to go out and do things. Just know that if you do, there's going to be like hell to pay if you do it. And look, I've said it before and I'll say it again. They are protesting in places where they know they're not going to get fucked up.
Yeah.
Go to a rougher neighborhood and do that shit. None of you are going home.
Go do it in Peckham.
Go do it in Peckham. I dare you to do it in Peckham. Dare you. Do it in... Oh, actually, they've gentrified Brixton, haven't they? Not the same as it used to be. Some parts of it are still rough. What part of Croydon? Go to Croydon. Go to Croydon. Go to Croydon and start protesting.
Go to Bromley.
Hey, listen, yeah, go to Bromley. Go to certain parts of Birmingham. There's certain parts of the UK. You don't think you're bad and you're trying to get your message out. I'll sit there and watch you. Glue your hands to the streets in Peckham and Croydon, and you have my vote. I fucking
Let's see
dare
how
you.
brave you really are.
I dare you. Yeah, let's see how much you care about your cause. Go to some place where there's a lot of Jamaicans or a lot of Somalians or a lot of Nigerians, a lot of Turks, whoever, and glue your hands to the floor. You're going to be praying the police get there. Because if the locals come outside, God knows what's going to happen to you. But we know you won't. We know you're going to go to places where these people are not really going to say anything. At the very most, they're going to get angry. The police are going to shift them and leave you there. Because you're a bunch of pussies and you don't believe in your own cause. You're just disrupting people. Change your name to Just Stop Existing. Nobody wants you around. No one's going to get behind your cause either. No one cares about anything you have to say. And a lot of it is rooted in BS.
It's time to pick a side. We don't have time to waste anymore.
Why were you arrested?
For sitting down with my friends after they painted a building, I didn't do anything. I sat on a pavement. And now I've got a bit of orange paint on me and apparently that's a crime now. I'm not a criminal. I'm a scared little kid trying to fight for their future.
She's the one, right? They went and sprayed a building with orange paint and then she said, I did nothing.
Yeah.
What planet were you born on, girl? How old is this brat? It's always the ones with pink hair. They've ruined pink hair. I used to, when I used to see girls with pink hair, I used to think it was cool. It looked nice. These third wave feminists, they have ruined it. Only Japanese girls get away with it now because I'm so used to them doing it in Japan. You see these anime characters with pink hair.
Yeah, of course.
Only they. What do you mean? Yeah, of course.
Continue.
No, you say what you want to say.
Continue.
Say it with your chest.
Continue.
Say it your whole chest.
Continue.
Go on.
Continue.
I am continuing.
Continue.
Say what you want to say.
Continue.
She ain't got the balls to say
Shut
it to
up.
me.
United Nations has called for no more oil and gas. The International Energy Agency has said we can have no new oil and gas. The IPCC report, the largest global report on the climate crisis, have all said we can have no new oil and gas. How many more experts need to say it?
Because we can't do it tomorrow. What are we going to do in terms of transport? That we still need petrol for cars and we need diesel for lorries. How are we going to get goods into supermarkets without this? That's
a very good point. They want all these things to just stop.
Mm-hmm.
They want it to just cease. But what happens if we just stop doing it tomorrow? That guy talking, even if he was wrong because of how his voice sounds, I would instantly feel like I've made a bad point. He's about to school me. It's going in proper posh British accents.
Mm-hmm.
Quite frankly, I'm not a scientist. What I'm doing is I'm looking at the world and we're living the effects of the climate crisis today. Right now, people are dying. Children are starving. Families are fleeing their home.
Do you know what I've noticed with people that make these arguments? They always try to appeal to you emotionally. Mm-hmm. They say these things that are like, oh, people are starving, people are dying. There's no solutions in place. There's no plans to put forward, no blueprint. It's just bad things are happening. We need to do something. Do what? What exactly?
Yeah.
You want people to stop transporting food tomorrow? What exactly is it that you're proposing here? You're just saying things to make us go, oh, people are dying. People die every day. If you don't have a better plan in place, then it's not going to work. This whole appealing to people emotionally only works with people that are not really clued up on what's going on, or it's very easy to emotionally manipulate them. You're not going to be able to emotionally manipulate this guy or most people with a brain cell because you don't have a plan in place. If you had a halfway decent plan that we could talk about, then fine. But not only does this person not understand the science behind what's going on, they have no solutions at all. They just want it to be done, but they don't know what they want done. I hate it when they talk emotionally. It winds me up. When people try to appeal to you emotionally, they usually, not all the time, but usually they're trying to manipulate you.
You could understand that they're onto a good point here of what is going on in the world, but like you're saying, that
why is it?
What is the solution? Like, if it is causing all of this stuff to happen that she's rambling on about, then it's relevant. I don't know. I don't pay attention to all this stuff. I'm not educated on it, but I'm just saying, if it is true, then it's relevant.
Well, the problem here is that it's not. It's a lot of emotional babble with no solutions in place or no systems to replace the ones that we currently have. It's just, I want this done now because it sounds good in my head.
You're not understanding the point I'm getting at.
No, I understand your point. What I'm saying is...
Because I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, you're saying if it's a good thing. I'm saying it's not. It's just not.
No, I'm saying that if what is going on in the world that she's expressing, then it's relevant for them to want to make a change and want to protest. But like you're saying, there needs to be a solution here. They need to be a bit more clear and precise with what they're getting at and just not disrupt so much when doing it. Like, just find a different way of doing it.
Yeah, their methods are terrible. I hear what you're saying. What I'm saying is I'm trying to talk, like you're saying if, and what I'm saying is in reality, what they're saying isn't true. It's just not. A lot of this is a lot of hysteria, and a lot of them don't even understand where they get their money from. You know, a lot of these just stop oil thing is funded by the very people they hate. And a lot of them don't even know that.
Your parents! There's a lot of kids in that place. Come on! Move to once and let's just the bus go. You got kids in the bus. Come on, guys. There's a kid in the bus. They need to go to school. You're all parents, aren't you? Do you want to speak on the side? Look, there's a kid in there. My son's going to go to an appointment. He's missing it.
Think of all the dolphins that are dying.
Hey, forget about dolphin, man. Forget about dolphin, man. What animal are you fucking animal? What about dolphin, man? What animal are you talking about? What's animal? Are they human?
My man said, what about the fucking dolphins?
Dolphins that are dying.
You people are the worst. You are the worst. Please don't be surprised if someone loses their temper. Woman's trying to get her kid to school.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, where she's saying you're all parents. It's like, you lot are adults. You've lived your life. You're depriving this young kid of their education. You're depriving parents of being able to take their kids to important appointments. Imagine I've been trying to get a doctor's appointment for my sick kid all week, and they only gave me one appointment, and I now can't make that appointment.
What baffles me the most is there's police officers here just watching this happen. What exactly are you doing? Why are you protecting these people? Shift them so the traffic can get by. Why are you allowing them to rile people up? Do you not understand what is going to happen? I don't know who makes the rules over with the police and who allows this to happen, but you must understand what's going to happen. Can you not see that the British public are getting fed up? And it's only going to take one person. It's only going to take one person to cross that line. You know exactly what line I'm talking about. And then you're going to be dealing with a whole heap of problems. Because once one person does it, other people are going to feel emboldened to do it. And I don't want anyone to get hurt necessarily. I'm not going to lose sleep if they do. I won't lie to you. But I don't really want anyone to get hurt. So if whoever's in charge of the police or making these rules, please stop. Because I guarantee you violence is going to break out at some point. This is ridiculous. And one day they're going to go to the wrong area and they're going to meet the wrong person. And that's where it's going to kick off. Hell, it might, if it kicks off in central London, you're going to have bigger problems. Because central London is very congested. And you know when you get one person that has riled up the crowd and he does something or she does something and other people are like, hey, fuck these people. And they all start jumping in. Do you really want that? When these idiots start protesting, put them in handcuffs, put them on the side of the road, put them in your police van and send them on their way. Stop letting them disrupt it. And also, you know when you block up traffic, the CO2 emissions build, right?
This is the whole thing.
So the very thing that you're trying to fight against, you're causing hours, mile-long traffic. Getting around in London is already hard enough. Without you idiots, they're blocking up the road. Nobody is supporting your cause, it's not going to work. I guarantee you. There's enough people pushing back against what you're saying. They're not going to support you.
Energy is...
And it's preventable.
Energy,
we have the solutions.
Cheap energy is one of the things that has hugely extended life expectancy by the ability to control temperatures, whether this is by air conditioning or by heating, the ability to store food more effectively, the ability to transport food, and indeed use fertilisers to grow more food, has all been essential in increasing life expectancy. Taking all that away would be disastrous for life expectancy.
Do you know what's essential in keeping our food supply? Tackling the climate crisis. This year we lost a third of our wheat crops, half of our potato crops, and it's only going to get worse. We're heading to a future where people are going to be fighting over the last loaves of bread at Lidl.
But the only way we get our wheat crop is by putting the fertilisers on that come from fossil fuels. How are we going to replace that? That the productivity of organic farming is so much lower than of modern farming methods. We cannot feed the world on organic farming, and you must know that.
Yeah, the thing is, Jacob has just said exactly why these things happen and the process behind it, right, and why we need it. What did she come out with? People are going to die.
We need to get her on, Piers Morgan.
Oh, for God's sake.
Piers, please.
Don't have her on, Piers.
Deal with this one.
This is again, these idiots, all they know how to do is appeal emotionally, but she's not actually saying anything. She's literally just saying people are going to die. He's just outlined to you why we need these systems in place, why the infrastructure is built the way it is. And you didn't counter it with a solution. You just said, do we really want to be fighting over the last loaf of bread in Lidl? What am I supposed to say to that? Obviously, nobody wants to fight over the last loaf of bread in Lidl. But if you don't have a solution on how to fix the problem, why are you saying that to me?
How do you expect to feed the world when our crops are destroyed by droughts, floods, wildfires, storms?
You've always had weather events that have affected crops, but that actually using fossil fuels for fertilisers and moving on to genetic modification of crops has enormously increased the yield. That since Malthus rate, we've increased agricultural productivity by about 2% per annum. And this is what is allowing people to get extended life expectancy because they've got more certainty of food. And this all depends on cheap energy, which has come from fossil fuels.
Jacob, you have 6 children? Do you not care about their future? Do you not care about them being able to feed themselves? Because right now, under this government's policies, your 6 children are heading towards a future that is filled with life-threatening extreme weather events, crop failures, famine, war. Suffering on a scale completely unimaginable.
I think you've taken the evidence for an evolving climate and then applied it in an extraordinarily extreme way and are forgetting about the enormous advantages.
I can't believe you're talking to me about an evolving climate.
Well, the climate is...
People are dying.
But this is a statement...
Do you know how many people are suffering around the world?
What evidence is there that this is because we're using fossil fuels, that the climate evolves, but more people die each year from cold than from heat, as you know?
Have you read the IPCC report? What do you mean? What science?
But in terms, you're making extreme claims, but you're suggesting by not using fossil fuels, we would not produce the food we need to feed the world population.
I'm suggesting that if we keep on heading down this genocidal path of mass destruction, then no, there won't be any foods in the supermarket. Then we will see vast swathes of the world uninhabitable. We will see mass displacement of people.
But if you took out fossil fuels tomorrow, you would simply not have the productivity of agriculture you need to feed 8 or 9 billion people. And that would be tomorrow. And I'm not saying you shouldn't reduce emissions. I'm not arguing that. I'm simply saying you must do it when you have the technology to replace the energy that you're using. Because otherwise, all the consequences you're arguing for will happen immediately. We will simply not have the food we need to feed the population of the world.
He told her exactly why we have the things that we have and how it works. And she was like, people are going to die.
People are suffering.
Jacob, you have 6 children. If you're having a conversation with somebody about anything, and you're explaining to them why something works the way it does, if they don't counter it, even if everything they're saying was theory, I could at least accept that. We can work with a theory. We can talk about a theory. If all you come out with is people are going to die, people are going to die if we change the infrastructure that we have now, because you don't have a solution in place, and solutions don't happen overnight. You can't just fix things, throwing confetti in a Wimbledon match, or throwing paint on a building. And what do you plan on doing? I don't understand. I actually don't understand what they're proposing. And do you think it's going to happen overnight, or do you think it's something that's going to happen over years?
Yeah, they should be more so putting their time and energy into plotting and scheming and figuring out what they think would be a viable solution.
Yeah, it's no good just screaming into the ether like we want change. Change to what? What exactly are you proposing here? All she did was listen to what Jacob said and then say everything that she could to try and get to appeal to him emotionally. You have 6 children.
Yeah.
People are dying around the world. I can't believe you're talking about the climate. She didn't. All of it was nothing.
Yeah, and the way he just like kept so calm throughout the whole thing and just kept explaining his point, and she was there getting so like worked up and frustrated.
Yeah, she's getting worked up because she's listening to him. She doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Because obviously he's educated. Some of the things I don't even know what he's on about. But he clearly understands the situation to the point that he knows that you can't just remove the infrastructure we have now. It's all well and good. You know, this is like when people talk about socialism. And almost everywhere you look, socialist societies have failed. They have failed. And the people have suffered. And then you still get people saying, we should turn this into a socialist state. We should turn this into a socialist thing, this, that, and the other. I'm like, well, where has this succeeded? Where has having an entire country become socialist or fall under a socialist regime succeeded exactly? Not just pockets of it. I'm not talking about pockets of it like they might have in, I don't know, Sweden or Switzerland or wherever they have it. I'm talking about the entire country. And so you ask them, and they just look at you with a blank face. You think, in your little pea brain, you've never run a country before. You think you've got it down, but all of these world leaders that came before you failed, but you think you understand it. But you can't tell me how you understand it. That's what I'm getting from here. You think you understand how to fix the climate change crisis by talking to me emotionally about all these idealistic things, but you don't actually tell me how we're going to fix it. How am I supposed to take you seriously? How is anybody supposed to take this seriously? This just sounds like a bunch of children that have way too much time on their hands.
What is worth more, art or life? Is it worth more than food? Worth more than justice? Are you more concerned about the protection of a painting or the protection of our planet and people?
Let the ambulance through.
Oh, get out the way! Get out the way!
Yeah.
Now you've got to move. That is terrible. They are so annoyed. Oh! He threw a sandwich!
Security! You're hopeless! You are hopeless! The time for words has moved to the time for action.
I'm doing this for my son. The government's inaction on climate change is a death sentence to us all.
Wow.
Honestly. This has to be a bunch of rich people with too much time on their hands. That was an old guy throwing this shit at Wimbledon. He looked like someone's granddad.
Wow.
Shame on you, man. Shame on you. If that's your granddad out there, that's a fat old man. How embarrassing.
Blocking the traffic, and as a result, you're creating pollution. You're creating pollution.
Protesters from the controversial Just Stop Oil group. The aim, to break in and disrupt operations. Several activists have blocked a road nearby.
How long are you going to stay here for?
Just Stop Oil has been doing this around the country for weeks now.
What are they achieving?
Well, what they're saying is they want maximum disruption to stop the government extracting oil and gas.
Yeah, but that's cooking oil.
This is ridiculous, man. This is actually ridiculous. Do you know what I honestly think here? When they glue their hands to the ground, I think they should just leave them there. I know it's going to cause disruptions, but if we teach a group of them a lesson and you just leave them there, no food, no water, let them submit themselves. I'm not saying that we have to kill them, but let them tap out themselves. Say, all right, I've had enough. We're not going to do this anymore. Make an example out of them. Stop bailing them out. Leave them there to perish.
Yeah, this is the thing, because when you are giving them the attention and acting the way you are, it's encouraging them to want to do it more, because they're like, okay, we're getting the attention we want. But I just do think it's really unfair how they're doing a whole bunch of stuff that if we were to do it, breaking into places where like you're trespassing, we would get in so much trouble for that, arrested instantly, but they're allowed to do it, yet we're not allowed to remove them. It's all backwards, and it doesn't make sense. It's unfair and it's ridiculous, and it frustrates me when I see them blocking medical things.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like if I was in the car and I need to get to the hospital for one of my family members, I'm removing them. Arrest me, I don't care. As long as you're out the way so my family member can get to the hospital, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not going to allow that. How can the police even allow that? Someone needs medical attention in an emergency and you're allowing them to just stand there. No. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, it's a shame because these people are too stupid to realize what's going to happen here. So the ambulance trying to get through. There's nothing that could change my mind that you people are scumbags. But at least if you let the ambulance through, I'd have been like, okay, you're scumbags, but okay, there's a little bit of humanity left in there. But you see the ambulance, it's the first vehicle in your way, and you won't let it through. There could literally be somebody dying in there. Those people could be getting to somebody that needs help, and you're blocking them. And all you can say is we're trying to save the planet. You don't seem to understand what you're doing here. You're playing with fire. Like, heed this video as a warning. I'm telling you now, you're going to mess with the wrong person. And they're going to teach you a lesson or multiple ones. And I don't wish that on anyone. I don't want anyone to get hurt, but we live in reality, okay? We understand human nature. You're winding people up in London. What is London known for these days? People carry knives everywhere. You're going to block the wrong people one day, I'm telling you. If you have any sense in your head, you want to think twice about how you're doing this. You're really going to piss off the wrong person. And I hate to say this, and like I said, I don't wish anyone to get hurt. But if one of you do get hurt, I am not going to lose sleep over it, whether they are young or old, whether they have children or not. You are walking into that road and you are doing that to yourself. Please don't be surprised when the consequences of your actions catch up to you, because they're going to.
Oh, for God's sake.
No, stop it. Humanity, security is failing. This is a genocide. This is a war on the young.
We are part of Just Stop Oil. We're asking the government to stop licensing fossil fuels.
She's just everywhere, isn't she?
Is that her?
That's her again. God, man.
She's probably the leader of the pack.
Yeah.
She's got the group chat. She's admin.
I would love to get added to one of their group chats to see what they're talking about. Bunch of low-life scums, man.
Here are some protesters gluing themselves to the floor at a Volkswagen dealership.
I'm Gianluca Grimalda. I'm a researcher in social psychology at a research institute in Germany, and I'm here in the Porsche pavilion in the Autostadt of Wolfsburg to denounce the responsibility of Volkswagen in the climate emergency that we are facing.
Yeah, it was actually a Porsche dealership owned by Volkswagen, I should point out. But it all went bad after that. You see, the organiser then tweeted, Volkswagen told us they supported our right to protest, but they refused our request to provide us with a bowl to urinate and defecate in a decent manner while we are glued, and they've turned off the heating. Well, good on you, Volkswagen.
Damn right.
Imagine gluing yourself to the floor and then being surprised when people don't want to provide you with the tools necessary to piss and shit. They should have left you there. I know it's going to be a grimy job after they finish picking up whatever's left of you, but do you know what? I'd rather you piss and shit all over my dealership and I leave you there to starve to teach you a lesson.
Yeah, no one told you to glue yourself to the floor.
That's a grown man. That is a grown man. The pink-haired girl, whatever, you know, probably didn't finish her GCSEs. Parents have too much money. She wants to go out and make noise. She's going to regret this when she's older. But that's a grown-ass man. You're an idiot. You're an actual fool. And I'm glad that Porsche did that to you. And I hope that when they do this in other establishments, look, they come to the British Museum, they go into some, I don't know, some place where people are trying to have fun, instead of going to the oil companies or going to 10 Downing Street. Let them glue themselves to stuff. Just leave them there. It can be like a part of history, you know. This is where these twats glued themselves. They've been sort of enshrined here.
This must be hurting their hands.
Yeah, fuck their hands. Idiots.
The Just Stop Oil morons take 56. I mean, I just don't see any upside now to what these Just Stop Oil protesters are doing. They are deliberately wrecking ordinary people's, in many cases, hard-earned enjoyment, watching sport that they love. And for what?
Today, there was more disruption at Wimbledon from the rain than there was from the protest. So I think you're making much of it. I think they are doing a good job because they continue to put this issue on the news agenda.
But everybody hates them.
Again, an exaggeration.
Well, it's not an exaggeration. Listen to the crowd. Listen to the crowd. Here.
Okay. That's not everybody, is it, Piers?
There's no one cheering.
That's the crowd at Wimbledon.
There's not a single person applauding
That's the
or
crowd
cheering.
At Wimbledon.
Right. That whole crowd at Wimbledon, like the whole crowd at Lord's, I was there for that. Like all the crowds at all these events that they're wrecking or trying to wreck with their attention seeking. The truth is the British public are absolutely sick and tired of it.
The thing is that when you're at like football games and stuff, when people run across the pitch, they actually get like arrested. So why are these people allowed to do this and not get arrested?
Yeah, sometimes the police will shift them, but the way they treat them is like, they're very delicate with them. They're very like, you know, they don't ever see the police manhandling them the way they manhandle other people. And what that guy said, no, dude, everybody hates you. Everyone hates you. You live in a bubble if you think people don't hate you. The only people that support you are your own people. That's it. The people that are willing to get out of bed and go and do this dumb shit are the only people. The general public does not like you. We detest you. They threw your asses in prison. No one's going to cry for you. If they put your asses on an island and left you there, I don't care. And I mean that truly. If they deport you, I wish they deport them to China. Do this shit in China and see what happens. They will rock your shit out there. You're doing it over here. You're doing it in Germany. You're doing it in Amsterdam because these are places that you're very privileged. You do this in some place where the police don't fuck about and the government don't fuck about, you'll stop very quickly. No one is going to support you. You're just a bunch of idiots. You have the respect of nobody, apart from your own, which doesn't really say much.
They don't even know who funds them. Who funds you guys?
Just donations from the public.
Yeah. Right. Do you know that Just Stop Oil has taken massive donations from, oil dynasties such as Jean-Paul Getty? Did you know that? Sorry?
No, it's massive.
No, it has. Do you want me to show you?
No, we're not.
You are. I've just told you. You're funded by the Climate Emergency Fund in LA, of which the majority of them are heirs to oil dynasties, including Jean-Paul Getty.
I'll have a sensible debate about climate science and the climate crisis and the just energy transition, but there's no point if you're just going to throw mud that doesn't make any sense.
I'm telling you facts. How's that mud? Look, this is your favourite newspaper, The Guardian. Just Stop Oil's spring uprising protest funded by US philanthropists. LA-based Climate Emergency Fund donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to activists. They include Jean-Paul Getty, whose oil dynasty made him a multi-billionaire.
Bunch of fucking muppets. You don't even know where you're getting funded from.
And it's like she was going against him when he was just telling her positive facts that she should want to hear.
Yeah, you should want to know where the money's coming from, surely. You just want to walk into this eyes wide shut. You don't even know what you're protesting. You don't know where your money's coming from. It's the people doing this are obviously doing this to rile people. They're just using you. You're just pawns. You're not going to make any real change. How are you going to make change if you're getting your money from the people you're protesting about? And you're not protesting to them. Do you know how funny that's going to look if you show up to their offices when they're the ones giving you money? You're a bunch of hacks and you're wasting people's time and you're going to pay the price for it. I guarantee you someone's going to lose their temper. You guys need to be way smarter than this. This is the same thing as star signs. You know when you ask someone, where did that come from? What is it? What's the ideology? Explain it to me. They just look at you. They don't even know why they believe it. You idiots don't even know why you're protesting. And you don't know who's funding it, so well done. Bunch of jackasses. Can't stand them. Just stop existing. Change your name to that.